Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome to A Time for Truth show. It's a pleasure to have you back with us again today. And, you know, many of you have been asking, how do I see the other segments? Well, very simple. Go on YouTube, find the Time for Truth show, and you click on the subscribe button, become a subscriber, and you will be availed of all the past episodes and programs that we've done, and we'd love to have you as one of our subscribers. So let's get right to tonight, because tonight we have a great show because it has to do with art. You know, that part of life that's uplifting, that brings beauty, that brings ideas and insights, inspiration. And Buddha, let's put the slides up of our guest, Jeff Cash, a creative artist with 25 years of experience. And there you see one of his works with Julia Serving. He does a lot with different pro basketball players. And he's been involved in this a long time as an artist and a writer. He works closely with the retired Harlem Globetrotter, Mr. Robert Hunter, who has Art for Violence campaign. There you see Jeff. Jeff is a big supporter of the Drug Free World Foundation. And he'll be speaking about that tonight. He was featured in the 2003 edition of Who's Who in America as an inspiring artist. And his painting, titled In God's Hands, is part of the collection of 9/11 in the New York State Museum, Albany, New York. Jeff unfortunately lost both his parents due to cancer, and in their honor, established Art for the Care. And he takes part of the proceeds of his business and donates them in their honor to the American Cancer Society. There you see Jeff Cash, creative artist. Beautiful logo. He espouses the philosophy that art can tell a story. There you see Robert Z. Hunter, another one of his portraits. That art tells a story, brings smiles and laughter to its viewers. And he works with that intention to bring positivity to our world. There he is with his other works. And Buddha, if you will, let's bring him up live and bid a warm welcome to Jeff Cash. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
You're quite welcome. And then just raise your camera up again, please, like we had it before. Yeah, the other way. There we go. That's perfect. So, you know, you have some beautiful artwork, paintings that you've done there. How did you decide to start in your art career as an artist?
Well, I was 5 years old when I first started drawing. My mom used to take me to the library every single week to get books. And I had a book on different animals. I just started copying them. And I showed it to her and she couldn't believe it. And with a little longer after that, and I was in kindergarten, and my teacher called my mom up to speak to her, thinking I did something bad, but she said, "No, I want to show you your son's work compared to others. Your son is going to be an artist." And I always had my family backing me up. My grandmother always used to tell me I'm going to be an artist, and her portrait was the first one I did. I must have been 7 years old, and it stood by on her dresser till the day she passed away, and then I have it now, and it was a pencil drawing. I just love art. I love creating. I love writing as well as painting. Uh, my mom always taught me to think differently, to be different, and don't be afraid to be different. I don't even say think out of the box. I just have that creative mind, and I look at things and I see different things. I always ask young artists when they see an orange and cut it open, what do you see? 9 out of 10 times I get an orange, and that's the wrong answer because that orange is a whole new world. I consider myself the artist of heart and soul because that's what art is. It comes from your heart, it comes from your soul, and it creates smiles. It tells stories, and brings more love to the world. I love doing portraits of the ones I got from Bobby. I've done hundreds and hundreds, and then plus, from where I live, I get people that I do their portraits, family portraits, pet portraits, and I do them different. I like to know what the person's about, not just looking at them and painting them, but creating something that's very different. With the backgrounds, I incorporate backgrounds into the portrait, uh, depending on what they like. I did one of my cousin who recently passed away. He was a drummer, and I put his face in the drum set. I did one of my friend that recently passed away too. I did it years ago. He was a guitar player, and his face was in the guitar. That's who he was. So I do things like that. I make them different. I make them one of a kind. I make them unique. Uh, and Bobby Hunter has taken my artwork and brought it out there to the public. Seems like I've known him forever. We connected from the first day we met, and I did the 52 portraits of the Rutgers players from Harlem, and I'm working on now. It's supposed to be 60, so I'm working on the remaining 8 for that. And sometimes people send me a photo, I can't even see anything, but I somehow I make it work. Uh, Bobby always says I'm a doctor when it comes to that, a surgeon, creating something out of sometimes nothing that they give me. These are portraits that are many years old and they can't find anything else. Uh, and it's hard to work from a person. I prefer a flat image to work from. And I put in at least 20 to 25 hours into a portrait. And I look at them and I always say I'm never done. Because I always add something else, even to my other artwork, my abstract or my scenery, whatever I'm doing. I look at them and I always create different ones from one painting. I paint them all on my iPad with the Apple Pencil, and I studied every form of. Did I lose you? Oh, yeah. I lost you for a second.
And you know what? You have the mark of a good artist because a perfectionist, never satisfied. You're always going, creative. That's the mark of a great man who's an artist. So let me ask you a question. You're welcome. Let me ask you a question. Who do you feel was a mentor? Was there a mentor that you feel really guided you in your art career?
Oh, definitely. Yes. Of course, my parents, because they always stood behind me. But my high school teacher, Mr. Stern, uh, when you're in high school, you got to take art. And he always said at the beginning of every class, every term, that there are ones that are here because they need to take the class, and there are ones here that have a talent for art. And those, I'll know who they are. And we just had that connection, too, when he took me under his wings. He used to be a art director for a big ad agency in New York City. His wife got sick. He went into teaching. And he was the most amazing man with his handlebar mustache. Still remember that. And he got me also to think the way I do with art, that if you want to paint someone blue, purple, pink, do it, the horse that's white doesn't have to be white. You can put any color in there. Uh, and he just guided me. Uh, he always got me to think about what I'm doing and not just painting it, and not just looking what I'm painting at or thinking what I'm painting at, but my hand, to him, my hand was a connection to my heart. And that's where I got that from. And that was, like I said, when I was in high school. So he definitely was my mentor, definitely guided me and got me to think differently. And I even taught that too later on in life. I did teach art uh, to first graders and second graders, and I taught a class down here once at an art store actually that had art classes. And I taught an art class there. And basically, I always say to people, just be different. There's no wrong or right in art, and everything that I would say from the moment we wake up to everything we look at, everything we touch has something to do with art. It was created by somebody. The clothing, the car you drive, the house you live in. Everything is art. And being an artist is a great thing because it gives you that. It allows you to think differently. It allows you to be creative, and your mind is, it's hard to explain, it's a different feeling. I mean, every artist I know is very different than one that's not. We
Absolutely.
think
Well,
differently.
what I was going to tell you, Jeff, is I was going to tell you, Jeff, is that it's so true. If you look at our world, and the whole world is a creation, and everything we have around us, and you're saying some things that we take for granted, because in life
We do.
there's so much. I totally agree with you. I mean, there's so many things that really are created by others for us, and we create for them, and others create for others. And the whole world is a creation. It's really a work of art. And so, but I wanted to ask you, because now you've got this career, you already known and whatever. But I think it would be good for the viewers to know, so they see what you went through. What were your early years? Your early jobs were like? What was your early? What was it like when you were first starting out? Was it difficult, or what did you go through?
Well, I worked with a family business, yarn manufacturer. I learned at an early age how to deal with customers, how to deal with people, how to deal with life. And when I was in high school, I took college classes. One of the ones I took was color theory, which was an amazing class because it taught you how different colors look next to different colors, the backgrounds, how it changes with objects, shapes. And it's very important when you're doing a logo or business card for someone developing their business, what colors you choose. If you have a restaurant or things like that, these things are very important. So at an early age in high school, I got a lot involved with art. And then when I went to college, I was, I believe it was 1981, I'm in college studying advertising, and I got a job as a graphic artist for this agency in upstate New York where I lived. It was called Votes Unlimited, and we did all the political bumper stickers and posters for all politicians throughout the country. And I was the original artist. I did all the original work, the designs, and I started doing that. And then I just went on my own. I always did logo designs. Back then, I painted storefronts, signs that back then before they were actually, made. They were painted on the buildings. It wasn't easy. The old expression, "the starving artist," is true. It's hard to put a price on art. But I will always create. I love doing it. I've been doing it since I'm 5 and I'm 61. I've had a lot of different jobs and businesses in my life, but every one I always did art for myself in the business, making my own menus up when I had my restaurant. When I had my wholesale business, I took my art into that, being creative. This was before social media, back in the day. And now I just, like I said, I write every day. I draw something every day. So that's my life. I mean, art is me. Art is what I'm about. Art is who I am. Uh, and I enjoy it. I love it. I love the smiles it creates when I give someone a portrait that I did of them, and they look at it and say, "Wow, that's amazing." Uh, that's all. That's what it's about.
Right, absolutely. And you know, I was going to ask you a question because I know we were discussing a little bit before the show, and so I wanted to kind of you tell the viewers your philosophy about art and how it does more than just be a painting or a scene or colors put together, but how you use it and what it is that you're using it to do in this world, in this society. So tell us a little bit about your philosophy regarding the effect that you want to create with your artwork.
Well, like you said, I lost my parents from cancer. Uh, my mom was only 62, 25 years ago, 26 years ago. So that it was rough when my mom passed away. I didn't paint for close to 2 years. That was my number one fan. That was everything. And then one day I looked at my artwork, the painting that I started. It was from a Bob Seger song called "Feel Like a Number." And I looked at it, half done. I said, you know what? I need to finish this because my mom would want me to finish it. And it actually won in a lot of art shows when I was living in New York. But my philosophy is, one, never give up, no matter how hard it seems. And art is, to me, everything about life. Like you said, it's the world itself. Everything we see, everything we touch is art. And again, it creates those smiles. It creates laughter. It creates stories. It's a legacy. To have a painting of your great grandfather or grandfather or parents or anyone, friend or family, hung up in your house, and because it's different than a photograph.
That's right.
Photograph captures everything what you see. Painting takes it to a whole new level. So that it's the smiles, it's the way it makes people feel. Having paintings in museums is a plus. Having shows all over the country through Barbie Hunter is a plus. It's sometimes it's hard to explain, how it makes me feel. Because it's not about me. It's about the people I do the portraits of. It's about them. How it makes them feel.
Right. And let me ask you something. How is it that you did come to meet Globetrotter Robert Hunter?
Well, through a friend of mine that I did business cards for many, many years, Ben, he called me up one day and says, "Here, talk to this guy. He needs some business cards made up." So I talked to him, and he says, "Yeah, he was a basketball player." I didn't know who he was at the time. And he gets on the phone, and we start talking. I said, I'll text you my email address, just send it to me, and I'll put it together. He goes, all right. So he sends it to me, and I look at it. It's a postcard of him with the Globetrotters, and they all signed it, and it says Bobby Zora Hunter above him. And I said, wait, I remember that name. I seen them play when I was a kid. Always went to see the Globetrotters in New York. And I did the cards, and I met with him in Margate, where he lived, in the Dunkin' Donuts. And I'm sitting there, and he walks in, we look at each other, and we knew right then who we were. And we just connected. He goes to me, I love your work, I love your style, and we're going to definitely work together. And people tell you that, and sometimes you never hear from them. I think it was a week later he called me up because I have a project that I want you to do the artwork for, which was the Rutgers players, the 52 Rutgers players, which took me about a little over 2 years to do. And since that first meeting, we became more than friends. We're family. He's an amazing man. He is a humanitarian. He cares only about others, and he would do for others before he does for himself. If it wasn't for him, my art wouldn't be where it is today. And he made me think differently too. My outlook on art, the way I paint, everything just came back into perspective when I met him with my art. Everything that I was taught, everything that I did years back, came back to me and brought my art, like I said, to a whole new level. not only my portraits, but my abstracts, uh, the mindset of everything that I had when I painted. And I do the same when I write. In fact, I'm writing a book now. I'm putting together. It's called More Laughs, Less Tears. It's a portrait of hope, and it's all about cancer survivors. It's going to be 18 stories in there. Each one gets a portrait, and I tell their story. And each one has a very unique name. One was the gift, because when she found out she had cancer, it gave her that opportunity to change her life and make it better. And that's how she looked at it as a gift. So that's in the workings right now. I'm talking with people and getting their stories and putting it together.
Beautiful. Well, you know, I was going to ask you, I was going to ask you something. What do you
Yes.
feel is your, if you look at the work you've done over your career, your life, what do you feel is your greatest accomplishment?
It hasn't come yet. I think every day is an accomplishment, because every day I'm learning something different. When I paint, I'm doing something different. I look at old paintings and I say, wow, I did that. And I look at my new painting and say, wow, look at the difference. So, I mean, yes, one of my greatest accomplishments was having the 911 painting in God's hands. And that was named actually by a nun. When she seen the painting, she told me it's in God's hands. And I just thought that was a great name for that painting. But every day is different. Tomorrow will be another accomplishment, another painting I do, another story I tell. So it's a learning, it's a constant changing, it's a constant doing, and constant growing. As an artist, I'm never satisfied with what I do. I'm never satisfied with the outcome. I always say I can do it different. I can do it better. So I have over 4,500 paintings, and I have paintings that I've done series of. So I've done like one painting, and then I change it, and I do a series of 5 or 6 from that one painting, and the iPad allows me to do that. So like I said, it's always changing. It's always different. There's always another accomplishment. There's always
Very
another,
nice.
another
Wow.
another day to look at. That what am I gonna do today? How am I gonna change something today? How am I gonna make it smile today?
That's right.
How am I gonna make someone
Well,
laugh today?
how are we going to move forward? Right. Exactly. Makes total sense. You know, I always ask this question of my guests because, you know, we all work at a purpose, with a mission or a dream that we have, and it drives us in our lives. And so, when it's all said and done, what would you most like to be remembered for? When people say, "Oh, Jeff Cash, yes, he did," what would you want to fill in the blank there? What would you like to be remembered for?
That's a very good question. I can appreciate that. I guess someone that made a difference in people's lives, someone that created more laughs and less tears, someone that uh, made us laugh, made us smile, brought more love to the world through his art, through his writing, through his poems.
Very
Someone
nice.
that's always been there for others. I've always, my dad and my mom were volunteers at the American Cancer Society when I was a kid. I used to help them with different projects and stuff that they did. And later on in life, I did the same in my parents' footsteps, and I continued it. And I loved it, and I loved it. I still will be doing it. Uh, and I remember my dad once telling me, the feeling you get when you help someone, when you do that, when you do something from the bottom of your heart, then you'll answer that question for me. And it's true. I mean, the first
You're
time I
so
did
right.
something like that first event I did for American Cancer Society, uh, the feeling I got from being there and helping, and the smiles and the hugs from strangers, you know, uh, it's hard to really say what that means, but you feel it inside. You feel that, and that's what my art does. My art makes you feel something inside.
Absolutely. You know what? There's no greater satisfaction or gratification than putting something out selflessly, giving to someone else or giving to the whole community. Your father was so right, is so right, because, you know, the energy that comes back to you is priceless, and it's a beautiful energy. We're getting near the end of the show, so I wanted to ask you, what concluding remark would you like to leave the viewers from Jeff Cash?
Well, to continue sending me portraits to paint. Support my fundraising with the American Cancer Society. Hopefully, within August already, I give myself about 6 months to finish that book, to support my book with the American Cancer Society. Just allowing me to paint, allowing me to create, allowing me to make smiles, put smiles on your faces, and then put that warm feeling in your heart. The paintbrush is an amazing tool, and when you create something, is just the most amazing feeling when someone looks at you and says, "Wow, how did you do that?" And I get that, like, how do you do that? How did you capture me, in that way? And that's why I talk to people first when I do their portrait, to get to know them and see what they are, what they're about, what they like, their favorite color. So I incorporated all that into their portraits.
Beautiful.
I guess, just to continue painting, continue writing, continue creating smiles, love, happiness, and laughter. That's what it's about.
That's what it's all about. Now, if they wanted to get a hold of you, what is your email or website?
Well, I'm working on the website. My email address is jefftheartist2000@yahoo.com.
Good. Repeat that again.
Or is jefftheartist2000@yahoo.com, or artforthecure@yahoo.com. They can always contact me on Facebook as Jeff Cash. They can send me a direct message. I don't know, can I put my phone number out there?
Sure, why not? Go ahead.
They can always call me at 954-288-5559. I answer all calls, and I'm always available to take on a project when it comes to art. Like I said, family portraits. Even I've done portraits of people's businesses, their building, paintings of their building. So paintings of families with their pet, So, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you know what, Jeff? Art depicts life. Art brings out what's inside people. And I can see your approach. You get to know your clients. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. And, for those of you out there, definitely reach out to Jeff Cash. I can see why, Robert Hunter and you get along so well with your Art for the Cure, art,
he's a great
art
artist
against
himself.
violence. Absolutely, and Art Against Violence. Thank you for being on the show. And unfortunately,
thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, it was a pleasure. I'm sorry we ran out of time, but thank you for being on there. For those of you watching, may you, as Jeff Cash said, bring positivity, bring smiles, and bring energy to your life, and make your life a work of art. Good night.
Good night, Ben. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet